I woke up this morning and found out that my grandmother was making chicken for lunch. And the day was pretty much already ruined, like, from the very fucking beginning. Because this bitch cannot cook for shit. It's like, one time she made me turkey, and it was just liquefied. Like, I'm not even joking. I touch it with my fork to cut it up, and that shit just, like, goes right through like it's a liquid. And don't even get me started on, like, the fucking 4th of July where she made me steak. Okay, like, literally, that was a week ago, right? She made me steak, and I was like, oh, yippee, steak! I'm so happy. I love steak. It looked delicious. And then I found out that it is not steak. It is steak-flavored gum, because that shit was so chewy that I couldn't physically eat it. It took me 15 minutes just to eat like a quarter of that shit. It's like, oh, there's children in Africa who would love to eat that steak. Oh yeah, I bet they would, but they couldn't. And then when you can't, you have to give up, and the aftertaste of it is just like taunting you. My teeth hurt for like the rest of the day after trying to eat that steak. I've been having a shit day, so now I'm gonna tell a shit story to continue the theme, because I'm really just like great with theming shit. So, let's start off this story by saying that I had a pet bunny at one point. Believe it or not. He was black and white, and I still have pictures of him. And now he's dead. The end. Roll the fucking credits. I'm pretty sure I got him in 2021. So, the beginning of the pandemic, and it was exciting to have a pet, like, for the first time in a long time. Because before that, I didn't have any pets. My great-grandmother was still living with me, and she was allergic to pussy. She wasn't lesbian. That was a bad joke. That was a really bad joke. She's allergic to cats, and I didn't want a dog, because dogs are loud, and I hate dogs. I know. Crazy, like, take. They're loud, they bark, I can't pace in my own backyard and, like, daydream without getting a bunch of dogs, you know. I had him from, like, 2021 to 2023, which is 2 years. That wasn't a very long time, actually. 2023 was probably it was the beginning of my depression, and I'd say one of the most wasteful years of my entire life, because I didn't do anything. Even though 2025 is probably the worst I ever had been mentally, like, at the very least I was doing something. At the very least I was making progress and shit, you know? 2023, I was just rotting in fucking bed all day, like, doing nothing. I wasn't even watching videos or anything. It was sad. And pretty much the only friend that I even had was my pet bunny. My grandparents fucking hated him. They hated how the bunny smelled. They hated how the bunny shedded, like, its fur all over the place. Excuse you. Actually, that's literally it. They just didn't like that the bunny smelled bad, which was fixed with Febreze. My cat sheds hair literally everywhere. Scarlet also vomits and shits on the carpet every once in a great while. She's not, like, doing it daily. But, like, same thing with my bunny, you know? All the things they complain about with my bunny, they don't complain about with Scarlet. And I love Scarlet, and I would do anything for that cat. But my point is, they had double standards and just hated my fucking bunny for literally no reason. Then, in 2023, I go downstairs, because they moved my bunny's cage downstairs from the living room, because they didn't like the smell, which, you know what? Reasonable compromise. So, I go down to the basement to check on the bunny, and the cage is just gone. So I quickly run upstairs, look out the window, and his cage is on the side of the road near where the dump, like, fucking trash person truck shows up. Then I go upstairs and I ask my grandparents, where the fuck did you put my bunny? They took him all the way out to, like, the woods in the back after they saw a fox back there, and they just let him free into it. They didn't tell me that they were just gonna, like, do that. They just did that one day, randomly. And, you know, I understand putting down animals when they get too old instead of letting them die like a slow, painful death or something like that. But also, they didn't even do that. They left them out in the fucking woods to get eaten alive. So that kind of sent me into a complete spiral, and I was scared that maybe I was being a little bit unreasonable by being, mad, because I was still kind of in this mindset that, well, they are adults, and I guess they have more life experience, and maybe I'm just being ridiculous. But then I text my aunts and my cousins about it, and even they're saying, like, no, that's fucked up. That's bad. And what also didn't help was that my grandparents decided that for one more day, they were going to take me out to Bible camp. Out of nowhere. Just randomly, I get told, like, hey, we're going to drop your cousin off at the Bible camp that's, like, 3 hours away from home. And, like, we're going to have you stay there for, like, a day. And I'm just like, why? Why? I never liked Bible camp. I didn't like it the first time. I didn't like it the second time. Why in the actual fuck would I like it a third time? And every time I, like, brought it up to them, too, they would be like, oh, we should have never told you about what we did to the bunny. We should have just left you in the dark. It's like, that was my pet. That was my fucking pet. And you just killed him. Well, you didn't kill him. You left him to get eaten alive. Even better. Even better. Then my aunt told me, like, on the 3-hour car ride, that she'll, like, text me and talk to me just for some comfort and shit. And it would pass the time a little better. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice. I'm happy about that. Then the day comes, and I'm going to bring my phone with me, because they got me my phone that year for my birthday. And I had barely ever used it, and they were giving me a lot of shit for not using my phone at all. Even though they put, like, parental controls on that shit, so I couldn't do anything with it. I can do shit with it now, but, like, that's only because I was able to take them off. And taking them off was hard because my dumbass grandfather got a new phone because his old phone was so fucking, like, slow and laggy and terrible. I'm not joking when I say it should have taken 2 minutes to open up, like, the app and turn off the parental controls through his phone so that he can't, spy on all my texts and calls and shit and, like, all my activity on my phone. It took 30 minutes. And I was scared that I wasn't even going to be able to turn it off because of how slow his phone was. It was, like, impossible to even, like, open it because I'd turn on the phone and then I'd try swiping it up, but it wouldn't respond to my inputs, and then the screen would just turn off again. It was so bad. Anyways, that's like besides the point. The point is, I hadn't been using my phone. They were complaining about how I'm ungrateful because I'm not using the Christmas present they got me. It's like, okay, well now I'm going to text my aunt. And then they're like, no electronics. Okay, sure. I don't know what happened, but we ended up back on the topic of, like, my dead bunny because I was still angry at them, and I was trying to explain, like, how that was, like, really affecting me mentally because, like, you killed my pet, you bitch. And then she starts telling me this, you're not always right. You think you're right, but you're not. And we're the adults, and we know what's right. Blah, blah, blah. That bullshit. And I just got, like, so mad that I wasn't even thinking anymore. I just wanted to, like, hit something. I didn't want to hit them, but I hit, like, the back of my grandmother's seat, because, I was in the back seat, and I was really pissed, so it's like, alright, I'll just hit the back of the seat. And then they pull over to the side of the road and start yelling at me, like, did you just hit the back of my seat? Yeah, bitch, I did. You killed my pet bunny. And now you're, like, trying to tell me that I'm in the wrong? Fuck you. I'm not in the wrong. Fuck you. And it's like, it's an issue because my grandmother just really hates any sort of accountability ever. She does something, and she'll either just avoid the topic entirely if I bring it up, or she'll try to gaslight me into thinking that, like, it didn't happen. Like, for example, there was one time where, me and my cousins were, like, playfully bantering with each other. Nobody was actually hurt, like, by anything. My cousin was just, like, showcasing how big his belly was, and I made a joke about him being pregnant, and we were all laughing, all of them. He was laughing the hardest. And my grandmother didn't like that, and she started telling me about how mean I am, and then my cousin, who I, like, made fun of, stepped up and said, like, I don't care that much. And then my grandmother's like, no, that doesn't matter. We need to teach him to not be so disrespectful and mean. And then she somehow turns it into, like, this is why you got kicked out of public school, because you were so disrespectful. And so I made a joke about, yeah, I don't want to be shot anyways, so it doesn't matter. Because, you know, I live in America. And then she says I would probably deserve it. Okay. And we all heard it. Everyone in the car heard it. Then, like, literally right after that happens, my uncle calls her, and I shout to the phone, Grandma just said I deserve to be shot. And she immediately starts denying it, which, you know, reasonable, I guess. But then later that day, I go into her room to address her about that, and she just starts telling me it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So I go into the room with my cousin, and I ask him, what did Grandma say after that joke? I don't, like, ask a yes or no question, like, did she tell me I deserve to be shot? I asked, what did she say? And he said that she said I deserve to be shot. And that's pretty much the exact kind of shit that my grandmother was doing with my bunny. Well, not gaslighting me, she was just trying to avoid the topic altogether. Anytime I brought it up, she would try to switch the topic, or, like, give me some, like, it doesn't matter. It's like, yes, it does. Because that was my pet. I took care of him. I filled his food thing. I filled his water. I cleaned out his litter box. Motherfucker, that was my pet. If anyone's going to take him out to the woods to get eaten, it's me. Anyways, after that whole thing happens, we pick up my, cousin, and the car ride goes fairly smoothly because now my cousin's in the car, and, you know, I'm not in the mood to start drama with, like, somebody else who I am on good terms with. And I figure, you know what? The day should hopefully go a little bit better. On the way to the Bible camp, we stopped at a national park for some reason, and kind of just, like, walked through there, and when we got to the entrance, my grandmother then randomly brings up what happened in the car before we picked up my cousin. Pretty much, long story short, she just randomly wants to start drama again, so she says that bullshit. And then my cousin turns to look at me with, like, a, you did what? And then I'm just sitting there awkwardly, like, why? Look, the day started off bad, but it was kind of turning around, and I was, you know, having a decent time with my cousin, at least. And now you're trying to make her mad at me. So then I mentioned to her, the dead bunny. You killed my bunny. It's like, all I really want is an apology. That's it. That's all I wanted, because I hadn't gotten an apology up until that point. And I don't think I still have. Thankfully, my cousin was actually pretty chill about it. We walk into the national park, and we go separate paths. Me and my cousin go a different path from my grandparents. And she talks to me, like, she asks, like, are you okay? And I don't even remember if I responded with yes or no. I don't think that conversation turned into anything, because I was still really socially awkward and kind of in this mindset that I must be faking my depression because I'm not diagnosed. I fucking hate that, like, TikTok psychology ass bullshit. Like, all your struggles are invalid if you're not diagnosed with something. So after that, the day went kinda smoothly for the rest of the time that my cousin was with me. We ate a Wegmans sub, we got to the camp, and a bunch of shit happened. But thankfully, no murderers. You know, Lucas wasn't there, that's good. It was the same camp from the first time I met Lucas. So I was scared as shit. Played on the playground for a little bit, met some of the campers, and then we left my cousin there for the week, because, you know, that was a week summer camp, and I just had to be there for a day. But then they decided to change it, and now I only had to be there for, like, a few hours. And you'll see why in a second. Because when we left, they started yelling at me about how awful and disrespectful and terrible I had been the entire day. It was just the morning that I actually did anything. but it was the entire day that I was disrespectful. I didn't even explain the reason why they wouldn't let me bring my phone. It wasn't just no phones at Bible camp, it was also, you have people in the car that you can talk to, why don't you talk to them? But the funny thing is that my cousin, brought her phone in the car, so we ended up listening to, like, her music and shit anyways. But I also just wasn't on good terms with my grandparents, clearly, and they're trying to force me to talk to them, but I don't want to talk to them, and there's not anything I can talk about with them, because I'm trying to hide everything from them, because if they find out literally anything about any of my hobbies or anything I like, they would fucking ban me from it. Another fight ended up breaking out in the car. Don't ask me what was said, because I don't even remember. All I remember is that I was really pissed by that point, because my entire day was wasted. They could have left me home alone, but they decided to use the fact that I had been... I always gotta do that R movement when talking about it so that YouTube doesn't fucking age restrict my video. I wasn't allowed to be left home alone. I wasn't allowed to bring anything to keep me occupied. They were constantly trying to start drama with me. And after all of that, my grandmother breaks into tears, and I don't even fucking know why. Because I did nothing. Literally nothing. And I thought maybe she felt bad. Maybe she felt bad. She killed my pet. I had clearly been feeling like total shit. Literally, like, a few weeks prior to that, she had to call, like, these, like, helpline people to come to my house to, like, do a checkup on me. Because that was, like I said, that was a really bad year of my life. We pull in to the house. And we get out. And I'm on my way inside. Because it's the middle of the summer, and it's fucking hot, and I don't want to be outside any longer. She calls me over to the gazebo, and she says, Tyler, come here. And she seems kind of sad, and, like, defeated in a way. She's like, I want you to talk with me, just for a little bit, okay? And I was, like, kind of relieved, because, like, finally she was actually going to be understanding, or hopefully, like, try and, like, talk things out a little bit. And then she tells me, if this keeps up, I'm gonna have to send you to military school. You have been so disrespectful and awful to us. For no reason. None of our kids have ever been this disobedient. You are the worst kid I have ever had to deal with. Woman, what the fuck? And to finish it all off, to finish all this bullshit off, she then tells me that I have to apologize to her or I lose my electronics for the entire week. Which, in other words, means that I would be completely isolated from, you know, texting my aunt about this. I would be completely isolated from, you know, watching videos for comfort. Or, like, any sort of distraction from this shit reality that I am stuck in with these people. She wants me to apologize, but you're forcing me. That's not a real apology. But I said it. I said sorry. Because I probably would have if I didn't say sorry, and then I had nobody anywhere to go to. And to finish things off, she didn't even make me dinner at all, like, and I didn't have lunch that morning either, because she just kind of got me up and rushed me out the door. So all I had that day to eat was a Wegmans sub, which admittedly was delicious. And you know what? Bonus story. Around a week after this, I got pissed at Minecraft. And I kicked the wall really hard. And I thought I accidentally broke my toe. Because it hurt and I was unable to walk without limping. Right? It hurt really fucking bad. I had to walk, like, on the side of my foot. It was awful. And the reason I'm saying this is, like, my grandparents got home after that happened. I actually still have the recording, I think. I might still have the recording of me hitting, like, kicking the wall really hard, because I was recording a video for my Minecraft channel, which I never even uploaded that video. But, you know, I have 2 other channels that I had before this one. Oh, my fucking toe. Ow! No, I think my toe... Oh, my... Oh, no. Oh, I think my toe's actually broken. Like, actually. I swear, if that iron golem broke my fucking toe, I'm suing Microsoft. Ah! It's nothing. Nothing. It's fine. Ah! It's fine. I can play Minecraft while in excruciating pain. I can. I'm used to excruciating pain at this point. Though usually it's excruciating emotional pain. This is different, but I can still get through with it. My grandparents get home and they tell me, hey, just because your toe might be broken does not mean that you get to get out of either mowing the lawn or walking on the treadmill, because you need your weekly exercise, or else. It's like, or else what? Or else we'll take away your electronics. We'll take away the only thing you have. It's like, I don't have any friends, because like I said, I'm not allowed to have any friends that I actually like. All my friends need to be fucking Jesus freaks, and I'm not having that. So, no friends. Fuck that. I'm not gonna have friends where if I try to go to them for comfort, their solution is pray to the fucking sky. I decide to go walk on the treadmill because they won't budge and accept the fact that I cannot physically walk. I go on the treadmill because at least I can watch videos on my tablet. This exact tablet, by the way. And I had just bought a fresh new pair of headphones for $40 with my money, right? And, pretty much, long story short, I fell. I was on the treadmill, I fucking fell over. My tablet fell with me. My headphone jack fucking broke off. Yeah, not only did that hurt, and now I was in more pain, but that's $40 that I just spent down the drain because these assholes refused to... Imagine what would have happened if I had mowed the lawn. If I chose to go mow the lawn with a... Like, I fall over and, like, my face gets shredded by the lawnmower. And then they start telling me that this is all my fault and maybe I shouldn't have kicked the wall. So now I'm mad at them, and then they're mad at me for being mad at them, for forcing me to try and do something that I'm physically incapable of right now, and in the process, you know, breaking something that cost a lot of money, and then they're blaming it on me because, well, I'm the one who broke my toe. Oh, really? Okay, cool. And, yeah, it's your fault for getting a brain tumor, by the way. And now you're deaf in one ear, because my grandmother is deaf in one ear. And I'd say it's 100% her fault. This is just fucking... She deserved it, because... I don't know, she shouldn't have gotten that brain tumor. And I get really... I have a meltdown, pretty much. I had a complete meltdown. I didn't hit her. I didn't get physical at all. I was screaming really loud. I slammed my door, and then I wanted to be alone. And then she walked into my room, I tell her to leave, I tell her get out, and she says no, and then she sits down in my chair, and I'm screaming at her, get the fuck out of my room and let me calm down, and then she doesn't listen, and she's just sitting there saying no, and by the way, this is your fault, just drops that out of nowhere, like, this is your fault, like, trying to piss me off. And I'm screaming even louder, get the fuck out of my room! Respect my fucking, like, boundaries, bitch! Wow, okay, this is, like, really making me mad. Just, like, thinking back on it. So, after that, you know, she threatens to call the cops on me. I did not get a single bit physical. I'm not throwing anything. I'm not getting near you. I'm telling you to get away from me, and you won't. And now you're threatening to call the cops. Now that you're, like, purposefully trying to piss me off. That's fucking... You fucking narcissistic bitch! Then my grandfather comes in, I'm telling them, get out, and then they're telling me about how I need to be respectful, and they're the adults, so they don't have to respect my fucking boundaries. Jesus Christ! And after a bunch of pointless arguing that doesn't go anywhere because they refuse to let me calm down so that I can actually think straight, and instead they're just, like, forcefully pissing me off, eventually they finally leave. And that was that. So, yeah, there you go. There's the story of... I mean, that's two stories technically, but the second one was just a story, a kind of separate but somewhat related story. Pretty much, long story short, 2023 was such an awful year of my life. So, yeah, sorry about the downer, video. You know, I like my videos to be at least humorous. I don't even know if this video was humorous, but, you know, at the very least, the next couple of videos might be. And also, you know, if my computer decides it wants to work again, I'll live stream again. That's only if my computer decides it wants to fucking work. And I still don't know how to do an outro. I don't fucking know. That's the video. Subscribe, or I will... I don't know. Goodbye. Oh.
Surprise, you genuine dick sucker.
Hi, Stan.
Are you fucking dense? You are going to regret everything.
Yeah, whatever.
Boo.
Oh, jeez!